The Chinese Communist Party quietly upping its pressure on Taiwan. China flew a surveillance drone into Taiwan's airspace for the first time on Saturday. Taiwan's defense ministry said the reconnaissance drone entered the airspace of Pratis, an island controlled by Taiwan. Pratis sits 250 miles away from Taiwan's main island. The drone flew above the range of Taiwan's air defense systems. It left the area after Taiwan issued warnings. Taiwan's defense minister has previously said that if a Chinese aircraft or other military asset enters the island's airspace, it can be considered a first strike. He added that Taiwan would be justified in responding for self-defense. Two Taiwanese officials told the Financial Times that the island would be extremely careful to prevent any incident at Pratis from escalating into a bigger conflict. Moving north to the East China Sea, the waters between China, Taiwan, and Japan, China has also carried out unusual exercises in recent weeks. The two separate instances, the regime deployed thousands of fishing boats to form floating barriers stretching 200 miles long. Some of the civilian fishing boats have been trained for military operations. China has used dual-purpose fishing boats to support its navy before, but it's rare to see so many gather in one place. Last week, the New York Times reported that roughly 1,400 Chinese vessels formed a rectangular formation in the East China Sea. And 1 month ago, about 2,000 Chinese fishing boats assembled in an L-shaped formation. Analysts told the outlets this suggests China has been bolstering its maritime militia. They say it could also be a test of how civilian vessels might support military operations against Taiwan. The fishing boats assembled near major shipping lanes close to Shanghai. Those lanes are considered strategically important for China in the event of a conflict over Taiwan. A former U.S. intelligence officer said Chinese fishing boats are too small to effectively carry out a blockade, but they could potentially impede U.S. warship operations. Some experts warn the fishing boats could be used to overwhelm radar or drone sensors or to help China reinforce its territorial claims. 3 Chinese nationals have been arrested in South Korea accused of laundering more than $100 million. Are signed. Warfare aspect. Are signed. What's next for TikTok now that the long-awaited deal is set to close this week? Are the security concerns still present? And how has the Chinese Communist Party used it as a tool for cognitive warfare? Joining us to unpack it all is Chih-Hsien Fleming. He's the CEO of business warfare and counterintelligence company Black Ops Partners and author of the book Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom. Chih-Hsien Fleming, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you back on the show.
Great to be back.
Now, reports know that the TikTok deal is set to close this week, but it does seem that ByteDance, the Chinese company, or China still controls the algorithm. So does this deal solve any of the security concerns that have been raised over the years?
Absolutely not. It's really window dressing. Because ByteDance, which is a CCP-owned company, ByteDance still owns 20% and they still own the algorithm, so nothing has been changed. And incidentally, you can't buy software and just, by changing the owner, which they really didn't because ByteDance still owns 20% and the algorithm, you can't change the multi-millions of lines of software coding that's all directed to storing information and reporting it back to the CCP.
To your point, ByteDance has a domestic one for China called Douyin, whereas TikTok is the international version, very different algorithms in terms of what they push. Expanding on what you were talking about, though, talk to us about the cognitive warfare aspect of TikTok.
Cognitive war is just one of the over 100 methods of unrestricted warfare. Cognitive warfare means breaking down the recipient's brain, the target's brain, and controlling it for not just now, but for the rest of their lives. So this constant hitting with, lies. If you tell a lie long enough, according to Lenin, if you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth in the subject or the target's mind. So taking over a child's mind or a young adult's mind or an adult's mind, you take it over for life. So what they're programming our children to be and to think is that the United States, to hate the United States, it's a broken system, it's unfair, it's not equal, And the communist model is the only way to go, and it only cares about people, and it only cares about peace, and it's all propaganda. We know that that is 100% propaganda. So one other point, the child's brain doesn't finish developing until age 25, and that's the executive function, the prefrontal cortex, and now there's a report saying it doesn't finish developing until age 32. So in this rapid growth and clay-type mold and molding situation, the damage that's done during this period is exponential compared to a 40-year-old, say.
And when it comes to solutions, everyone's always asking, what can I do, right? You actually have a great toolkit, if you will, or a survival guide, your own book called The Red Tsunami. Give us a sense of what people can do. Give us some hope here.
Well, first, and I'm not plugging the book is not about me. The book is about you, the audience. So number one, get the book into the hands of everybody you can. It's based on counterintelligence, top counterintelligence and other intelligence experts around the world have run in and endorsed the book. We also quote many of them inside the book. So get the book in your hands, your family's hands, and even people across the aisle that may not see the world the way you do, because it's meant to be the olive branch, the discussion tool to get us talking again, because we're violently apart and against each other, left versus right versus left, young against old, you name it. And that's all by design by the Chinese Communist Party and the Russians. And the more that we can start talking and having dialogue again, that really weakens the enemy, which is trying to certainly take us all over. So that's number one. Number two, stop buying. You vote every day with your wallet. Stop buying Chinese goods and services. Pay a little bit more for allied or U.S. Made goods. But stop buying Chinese goods and services, and stop buying from companies that are heavily invested in China, because you're only accelerating your own destruction and your own demise, because they are absolutely at war with you. We've talked about it before. It's called unrestricted war, and it's not, your government got you here. They're not going to fix this. And in a lot of cases, they are corrupted and they are compromised. Some of our congressmen take Chinese communist money in their reelection PACs. And that goes for, Wall Street that loves Chinese money and Chinese markets and so on. And it doesn't matter what the cost is, whether it's our freedom, which it definitely is our freedom, and all that. So stop buying Chinese goods and services. The third thing is write your congressman and tell them no more foreign influence. Ban all foreign influence. China doesn't allow any foreign influence. Why do we allow foreign influence here? Foreign influence is for one thing, to destroy your rights as an individual. Foreign influence is it's against everything we stand for, and again, it's against your human rights and your American rights as well.
That's up for today's China. 美国总统川普邀请约60国加入中东和平委员会。专家分析，有意思的是，其中包括北京和莫斯科。此举或将加速中俄之间的分化。中共处境尴尬。
周三，在瑞士达沃斯国际经济论坛期间，由美国总统川普牵头的和平委员会正式宣告成立，包括匈牙利、阿根廷和印尼等13个国家的领袖和代表出席了签约仪式。白宫表示，已有大约35个国家同意加入和平委员会。
这个川普他本身是地产商人出身，他想要把加沙地区建设成像这个法国的蔚蓝海岸那样子的这个景象啊。那建设这个当然就需要钱，需要钱呢，也需要这个大家各国的投资。
川普成立这个委员会，主要是为了整个加沙地带以及中东的长远的和平，保证类似于这个哈马斯恐怖袭击的事件不再发生，这些都是必须由国际社会所有的国家，或者至少说是这个大部分有影响力的参加，它才是这个实现的。
专家认为，由于国际组织大多被中共渗透，川普总统牵头成立的和平委员会将成为联合国之外的国际组织，主导处理国际性事务。
我们知道，美国前一阵子才退出66个国际组织，这些国际组织呢，目前多数由中共来主导。 那这种情况之下，当然就希望他能够主导一个这个国际性的组织，然后一方面呢强调这个美国的影响力，另外一方面呢也可以在联合国之外另立一个联合国或者国际性的组织来处理一些国际性的议题。
川普政府表示，已向全球约60个国家发出加入和平委员会的邀请，包括北京和莫斯科。俄罗斯总统普京周四表示，俄方准备将把被冻结在美国境内的10亿美元俄罗斯资产转交川普牵头的和平委员会，支持重建加沙。中共则尚未表态是否会加入。
中共如果加入这个和平委员会变成他加入，但是这个组织是由美国来主导，所以我觉得这个中国应该是会深入的考虑或者是考量的，不会立即加入，他可能会先看其他国家的反应。如果这个组织呢，世界上主要的国家都已经加入了，中国为了怕被孤立恐怕也会加入。
因为中共它本身就是要破坏现有的国际秩序，它参加任何组织，它加入了以后，它起到的作用一定是破坏国际秩序。
台湾国防专家分析，美国邀请中共和俄罗斯加入和平委员会，可能加速两国之间的分化。
现在呢，因为俄乌战争，所以俄罗斯成为北约或者欧盟或者是美国的主要的这个敌人。但是川普上来之后呢，他了解他目前最大的敌人或者是最大的威胁是在中国，在印太的。所以在这种趋势之下，当然俄罗斯很乐于让这样的趋势成型，或者是表面上不会强硬的抗衡美国，让美国将中国视为敌人。这是中俄之间本身的这种矛盾的
新唐人电视台记者赵凤华、易如采访报道。